Hello, hello, hello. I would say good morning, but it's good afternoon at this point. Welcome, welcome. I am excited to be here with you guys. Hey, Roxy. This is exciting. I'm just making sure that some of you guys see me. Welcome, welcome. I'm just giving it a few minutes. This is exciting. Whoop, whoop. Wow. Good afternoon. I know, right? I want to say good morning and good afternoon at the same time because technically it's only 11:30, even though half of my day is over, right? I'm excited about today. I wanted to get started 30 minutes ago, but I'm a mom and I have a teenage daughter who insists on coming in my bathroom even though she has her own. So there you go. She was in my way while I was trying to get my red lip popping. What do you want me to do? Can't do nothing about it. I know Roxanne understands, as many of you do. Like, I thought I would be able to do this one thing, and then a kid made me divert and do this other thing. And she's 18 now, and it's no longer child abuse. It's like, I don't know, assault or something, if you assault them. I don't remember. But my goal is to stay out of jail and off the pole. That has always been my goal in life. Love it. Oh, thank you, honey. Hey, Dana Dane. I love Dana. Hi, Diana. Diana King. Hello, hello. Welcome. Maybe this is a good time. Woo. You guys know I'm an early riser. I was going to totally do like 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Just didn't seem to be ideal. So we're going to try this 11:30 thing and see what works out. But I promise to keep it short and sweet because I want to dive right in and, answer any of your questions. This is not a webinar. This is not a talking head. This is not one of those moments saying, I love you more. I love you more. That's my heart. I have such an amazing New York family as well as Philly family, but I love, love, love you guys. You're so awesome. I am getting some messages in. One of the challenges, let me just say this while we wait for a couple people. One of the challenges, besides me losing my earring, which is hilarious just now, that happened in real life, of doing a live stream is there is way too much. Hey, Prasha, I will see you in a couple days, boo. There are so many things happening simultaneously. People are texting you and emailing you, and you appreciate it. At the same time, you're like, wait, what do I do first? And also, I'm looking at this and not looking at the camera. So am I looking crazy with all my faces? And I know I am. I'm special. So you're having this whole moment. For any of you who have ever done anything live that you knew you couldn't necessarily edit right away before it went public, you understand what is happening. It's just too much. It's just too much. And I'm going to ignore the fact that my earring just fell. Hey, Moya, I hope Moya's not here yet. Moya, I hope you can make it. Boop, boop. All right. So for those of you who are here, how many of you actually had an opportunity, and don't lie, be honest. If you know me well enough to just put it out there, that you got to see last week's Let's Talk Intimacy, where we talked about the 30-day commitment challenge. Did any of you get a chance to see that or hear that call to action? You can just put a thumbs up or an emoji in the chat and I'll see it. Because I just want to know so I'm not talking like over your head about something you're like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. No? Okay. So, hey, Lawrence. So last week in the Let's Talk Intimacy, which was the very, very first one, Brooklyn, you said you didn't. I keep wanting to say Brooklyn. Rox, you said you didn't. Oh, no, it's cool. It's totally cool. It was a really good one. I went over, it really doesn't start till like 3 minutes and 20 seconds because we were like jamming with music and Sony put up a disclaimer like, don't play my music in the background. So I had to deal with that tech stuff before we got started. But from like 3 minutes and 20 seconds on forward is some really, really good stuff. So please, if you have an opportunity, just go see it. It's both on the Facebook page, the business page, my personal page, and it's on YouTube. If you just go to Naketa Thigpen on YouTube, you can see it and just, push forward to 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Save you some time with me just bopping my head and typing stuff. So anyway, I did a call to action for 30 days of commitment to intimacy with preferably someone in your life that you love, preferably your partner. And if you are not in a personal, passionate, loving relationship, which many of us are not. I happen to be for 20 some years, but if you're not, that's okay, because intimacy is not just with your partner. Intimacy starts with you and then expands out. Kind of like for those of you who are really into energy and vibration and understand how your light affects everything. I'm great. Lawrence, I'm great. How it affects everything is it starts from you and it extends out. So your intimacy starts literally with you loving on you, you taking care of you, you going a little further with you, you treating yourself the way you treat other people. Most of us treat so many other people like queens and kings and princesses and princes and all kinds of royalty. And then we say things to ourselves like, you're not good enough, or why would you do that? Or that doesn't look good on you, or just other things. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have some kind of real talk judgment about, maybe you shouldn't be wearing, I don't know, black eyeliner on your cheekbones, because that's not where it goes. Obviously have some real conversations, but the way we talk to ourselves out loud and inward is usually really damaging. So the intimacy is really just getting in touch with filling your own love gap, loving you, going a little bit further, being nicer to yourself subconsciously, consciously, so we can rewire a lot of those narratives that we've had and just change the crap that was scripted for us since before we were 7 years old, because that's the reality of it. If you know anything about neuroscience, and that's a whole separate conversation, most of us have these early scripts that were put there from people, places, and things that we saw, we heard, and were told, all of the above rolled into one, since before we were 7 years old, and it's plagued us moving forward. If you were told you're too fat, you're constantly dealing with diet around not eating too much. If you were told you're too skinny, you're constantly trying to thicken up and don't think your booty is big enough or your breasts are big enough or whatever the case is, or you got to get these gains. Nothing wrong with getting healthy, but a lot of us have those scripts, and then we attract mates towards us as well as platonic friends. Hey, cousin. I'm glad you got the reminder that we attract these mates to us that really are just an outward mirror reflection of the thoughts we have of ourselves, which cause all kinds of drama and chaos in these relationships once we get woke to the reality of, wait a minute, I don't like how he or she is treating me, or I don't like what's happening here, or on paper we look really good together, but we're not necessarily a match for each other anymore because there's no passion or stimulation, or I'm sitting in the driveway for 45 minutes because I don't want to go in the house anymore. Like, there's all kinds of crap that comes up, and a lot of it has been put there before we were even able to like really verbalize how we were feeling about anything. So with that said, last week I did this call to action to get in touch with yourself. So just as a quick reminder to some and a new notification to others, I broke it down in days, and I said it should start Saturday, June 1st, because it's just really easy to start with the beginning of a month for something for 30 days straight. And I gave all kinds of examples of how, yes, although I'm talking to you doing this with your partner, you should really look at doing it with yourself first and then share it with them in that moment. So I gave it based on days. So like Monday was Memory Monday. So have a really good memory of yourself. Like when I was younger, there's all kinds of negative memories that I could think of, like my horrible nicknames were like big forehead and things like that. Or I could think about little ones like Vanilla or Squeaky or, or Smiley. Those were also other names that I was called from friends and associates and neighbors when I was young. So think of a positive memory. If you're in a relationship, think of a positive memory that you had with someone that you love. Like, I can think about the first time my husband before we were married, before we were deep in our relationship, the first time that I got that ooh from him is he just literally put his hand on the lower part of my back when we were just, walking. I don't know. I think we were walking into a movie theater and I just felt this tingle. That's a memory that I hold with me forever. Forever, ever. So it doesn't matter. And it's not a sexual memory. It's just a memory that makes me feel really good. So if I need to go into a special place where I'm not liking him right now, I will try my best, because I am human, to pull myself into a positive space where I can think of a memory that brings my vibration up in a positive way of peace and love and excitement, so I can really feel that connection with him and not dwell on the fact that he just got on my nerve 22 seconds ago, or whatever the case is. And of course, you can do it with yourself. If you're feeling really down and you're not connected and you're just not really sure of yourself, think of something positive you remember. Like, I remember when I was young and I had that athletic body and my abs was an 8-pack and I could eat anything I want, and people were looking at me like, how does she eat like a garbage can and she don't gain nothing? Like, I remember that memory. So I can go back there if I want to, if I'm feeling a little pudgy and a little soft in different places, right? Like, you can take yourself into that space that you need to raise your vibration so you can give great energy out to other people that are around you, including the person that you might not be feeling in the moment, which could be your partner, your intimate partner. It could be your children. I have adult children. They get on my good last nerve. Do you hear me? Love them, would die for them in a minute, but I live for them more. And with that said, sometimes I got to remind myself of when they were little and cute and didn't talk as much to bring my vibration up, okay? So it goes all the way. But I talked about Monday memories. Tuesday was teasing. So you should, hey, sis. So you should do some teasing on Tuesdays. Now, obviously, I'm always, when we're talking about intimacy, I'm always talking about you first and then extending it out. Your partner in love, your kids, your neighbors, your other positive relationships. And of course, there is something called brand intimacy, which we will talk about at another time. That is a real thing. Brand intimacy and marketing. Disney is the #1 intimate company in the world. They ain't having sex with their employees and their customers, right? Like, that's a real thing. You have to have intimacy in your customer service and in your employee relations and in your leadership, your ability to recognize people, which is literally showing them love. So that's a whole different thing that we'll talk about more later as the weeks go on, because I have some really good stuff coming out this fall, but I don't want to give all the surprises away. But with that said, bringing it back to me, my Tuesday teasing is just tease myself with something fun and tantalizing, whatever that is. If it's a foot massage for you, go get a pedicure, go get a massage, have your man massage your feet, whatever it is that works for you. Listen, I have had my daughter, I was like, listen, my feet hurt. Come massage my feet. I love you. You love me too. It's nothing freaky about this. Just massage my feet. And she will massage my feet the same way I massage hers. It's because I'm a parent who loves my child. And that's a way for us to show our intimate affection, going a little further with each other. And it has nothing to do with sexual energy. So in that case, I wouldn't necessarily have my daughter massage my feet on a tantalizing, teasing Tuesday. That would be more so my husband. But I would have her do that on a Saturday for self-care. I need a little self-care, and she love her mama. You home, you probably want some money from me, so come massage my feet. There you go. And I'm sort of kind of joking, but not really. But with that said, you can have fun with it. So do something tantalizing on every Tuesday for the next 30 days in June. Wednesday was Wellness Wednesday. You want to live long life together. So we talked about that. Do something well. He can go get on the bike. You can go get on the treadmill. Whatever works for you. You don't have to do it at the same time. You don't have to partner up and go at the gym. That might not be your thing. My husband does not like to work out with me. He wants to do his own thing, filling milk jug cartons and flipping tires. I don't have time for that. Give me a stationary bike, a row machine, and some Pilates mats and stuff, and I'm good. So we don't work out together. But on Wednesday, that's when I'm like, you go do you so you can get healthy, and I go do me so I can be healthy, and we can come back together and have good energy for each other. But whether he does it or not, mind my business. I want to make sure I take care of me, because my commitment to myself is my intimacy with me first. And he's not going to do anything that I'm suggesting him do if I'm not also showing up and doing it. So I hope that makes sense. And again, go back and watch it. I'm just going over a really highlight before we go deeper into the next. Hey, Neen. So Monday, memories. Tuesday, teasing. Wednesday, wellness. Thursday was thoughtfulness, which is today. Just being really thoughtful. So I am thoughtful with myself on a very regular basis because I believe in being selfish. I did say that. I believe in being selfish. And I know there's a lot of ways to spin it, and people say self-full and self-care is not selfish. You call it what you want. I am being selfish with me to take care of me, to fill up my own cup so that when someone, my family, a friend, a client, a power partner, a prospective client, whoever comes along and needs something from me that I want to give, hey, Rayhan, I know you want it. I know you want it. And I want to give them something. I don't want to give with a sense of regret because I'm running on empty. So I make sure thoughtfully that I fill myself up every morning. For 2 minutes when I brush my teeth, I'm pouring positive affirmations into me, telling myself how awesome I am. I'm bold, I'm courageous, I'm strong. I'm unconquerable, I'm victorious, I'm gentle, I'm honest, that I have great boundaries so that I can go after what I want, that I attract and maintain healthy relationships, that I create deeper, intimate connections, locking in the memories and filling the fills of everything that I want to create, because I create my balance and my joy. I put that in my body every single day for 2 minutes. It starts with me being selfish, with my connection to me and my higher self. And in that affirmative statement, because I won't even say it's a prayer, but my affirmative statement to myself, I round it out that I create my balance and my joy in ease and flow with and through El Elyon, who to me is the most high, unmatched God. That is my statement to myself every morning. It starts with 2 minutes of selfishness, because that is outside of hygiene. That is the first thing that I do in the morning besides emptying my bladder, if we want to keep it completely real without being TMI. And I have a whole thing, and I got it written on a card just in case my 40-plus-year-old brain mixes up something or forgets something, or I woke up in a haze of some kind and wasn't feeling really good. I don't want to miss that selfish moment with me. So I pour that in me every single morning and have done some variation of it for the last 8+ years that I've been a business owner, which is when I realized how exposing being an entrepreneur is, and it really exposes your flaws and all the things you thought you had together that you don't, and it really breaks you down to a whole nother level, and you have to be built up. And when I started my business, I was connected to God, but I didn't have the deepest relationship with him that I thought I had. So that's a whole different subject too. But with that, I have to be thoughtful. So my everyday starts with thoughtfulness, but I gave you Thoughtful Thursday to kind of kick it off for you, hoping that would be really helpful. And of course, extend it out. So my husband is really thoughtful in that he steams our clothes and washes our clothes, and he does that kind of regularly. Honestly, I could easily disappreciate that. I know I just made that word up, but I could disappreciate that a little bit because he's been doing it for 20 some years of our relationship, and it's really because he has OCD. It's not because he loved me that much. But it is also his way of showing me some intimacy, right? Like, he's going a little further. He could just iron his own stuff and wash his own clothes, but he does it for all of us. Well, the kids are out of the house and old enough now, but you know what I mean? Like, he does it for all of us to show that he wants to go a little bit further, but because it's so rote, I could easily dismiss it in a lot of ways. So he has to do something a little bit extra for me on a Thoughtful Thursday to show that he cares. So maybe it's as simple as just making sure he gives me a kiss on my forehead in the morning, just to be thoughtful. That may not be something we do every day, and it's not something that we do. Like, I try to make sure that we don't walk past each other too much in our hustle and bustle without giving each other a kiss. But when you intentionally give me a kiss on my forehead in the morning, that was just something very thoughtful. And it wasn't over the top, and it wasn't something I felt like I needed to close the bedroom door for. And I can do the same. Like, I know my husband wants a big jug of water filled with ice cubes in the morning. I can just thoughtfully make sure that I leave that on his end table, whether he's awake or he's asleep, whether he's working or he's not, and make sure it's there. Or when I make homemade iced tea, I put an extra jar in the freezer for him. So outside of the pitcher that's sitting in the refrigerator, there's also something in the freezer. It's just something small and thoughtful. Your intimate moments that you have with each other, let alone with yourself, don't have to be any huge, expensive, overtaxing thing. It could literally just be 30 seconds of your time, or 2, depending on what you're doing. With that said, that was Thursday. So Friday was Friday feels. Feel the feels. Now, I did mean that very intentionally. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me and are meeting me for the first time, my name is Naketa Thigpen. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a certified sex therapist. I'm a certified breakthrough success coach. I'm a certified business strategist, and I got a whole bunch of other certifications under that don't have anything to do with this right now. But one thing I will tell you is, with all of that, it makes me a really dope balance and relationship advisor, which is the role that I play inside of my company. And with that, I tackle every single area that we need to touch, including your sexual intimacy or lack thereof. So I don't hold back talking about sex. I talk about sex very openly, as I'm losing earrings again. I talk about sex very openly with everybody and anybody who can stand it and who's mature. I talk about it with my kids. I know what y'all doing. I know what y'all not doing. I can look at you and tell. Let's have some conversations to make sure that you're safe. I'm not encouraging, but I want to make sure that you are safe and you are taking care of you, so that I don't have to take care of you in a different way before my time for you to be my caretaker. Okay? What if you're single? I want to be felt up on Fridays too. I know that's right, Rox. Listen, singles need love too. So I am no stranger to encouraging you to feel the feels for yourself. Now, I don't necessarily mean just go stand around, you got kids and all that kind of stuff and be like, woo, you can do that too. I'm minding my business. But I am encouraging you to do things that make you feel really good. You know, orgasmic intimacy doesn't have to be penetration. That is the reality of it. It doesn't have to be, I want you to talk to my daughter. I got you. Let me know. I am happy to do that. There are some other family on here who will tell you I have talked to their kids. Like, let's have conversations. It's a very open thing. I don't want you to be in any trouble or have some stupid other person tell you something wrong just because they want to encourage you or see how fast you'll be as silly as they were. I'm very happy to have that conversation. But with that said, a lot of the orgasmic intimacy we have is not something that happened because of touch. For most women, our stimulation happens from an emotional connection in the first place. It's the way you make me feel way before you touch me anywhere on my body. I know that's right. Social workers or hair, but it's plastic. I can't. That's a whole different conversation. It is really about the emotional connection. So if you say that you are a spa connoisseur and you love massages and it just makes you feel good, then go get a massage. That made you feel the feel on Friday. It made you just feel really good and warm and connected. It has nothing to do with ejaculation, right? Ejaculation is just the benefit for procreation at the end of the day. That has nothing to do with what you need in the moment. You just need to feel in touch with your deeper self. Yes, I need that. I'm gonna inbox you later. Okay, I'm not mad at that at all. It's just so important. Like, we have to have these conversations. I know for a lot of women specifically, we don't care about the ultimate end goal of penetration. Like, yes, it's important. It can be connected to all of that good stuff, but it's really the foreplay that comes before that. And the foreplay that comes before you actually physically touching me is literally about how you stimulated my mind. Stimulate my mind. You can have all of my body if I'm connected to you that way. But like, that's what it takes for me. It's all about that. And I know there's a word for it and I'm blanking on it. Rox, I think you know this name. When you stimulate someone's mind, and like, that is the sexual orgasmic everything. I just can't think of what that's called right now. So if you know it, put it in the chat. I just can't remember what the word is right now, but it'll come back to me. But that's Friday Feels the Feels with you and whoever else. Saturday was self-care. It's pretty obvious what self-care is. Just take care of you, whatever that looks like for you. If you don't want to meditate for 2 minutes or 20 minutes, or you don't want to do yoga, go for a run. Go to a boxing class. Get a Groupon and try something new. Go do Pilates if you said you never ever would, or kickboxing or something. Or just go for a walk and get some nature and some sun on your skin and feel connected to earth. Like, do something that allows you to just really be reinvigorated by all of the blessing and dopeness that is you, because we are so dope. Sapiosexual. Thank you, Roxanne. I love her. See, when your friends is doctors, get away with that. Sapiosexual. So sapiosexual is the word when someone stimulates your mind. I know I'm a sapiosexual. That's what it is. Stimulate my mind. That's the most beautiful, sexy thing about my husband. Like, he has always been way more brilliant than I am. And I am pretty freaking magnificent. And he is 10 times doper than I am. And that is what attracted me to him beyond anything else. Because we both got big foreheads. I was concerned about how our kids would look. I was really concerned. Because we're beautiful, but, I wasn't sure. And they came out gorgeous. So it worked out. See what being a sapiosexual could do. It'll work out for you. And then Sunday was sizzles. Be in touch with your sizzlingness on everything. So Friday Feels, Tuesday Teasing, and Sunday Sizzles is another opportunity that if you are in a partnership, get it in. You have to. 3 times a week is what is recommended for a healthy sexual relationship, assuming there is no health issues or challenges and that you're both consenting adults. 3 times a week is the goal mark. Anything over that, hallelujah. Anything below that, be mindful. Because if you're not stimulating each other in that way, it could go left really fast. You could end up becoming 2 passing ships and be that couple who was passionate, who are now just roommates handling business. And I can speak personally. I know my husband and I went through that for a while when I got sick with my autoimmune, and before we knew what was happening, and I had all kinds of self-care doubts of what was happening. I had this 40 pounds come on me out of nowhere, and this pain and this issues. It wasn't a lot of sex happening. It wasn't a lot of intimacy happening either, because I had pushed back. And you have to know where that stuff is coming from for you as well. It may not be the other person. It might be you pushing back and mirroring something like that. 3 times a week is absolutely perfect. So that was really a huge, deeper recap that I wanted to do for last week, but it pulled me forth to our commitment challenges that get in the way of us being able to do 30-day commitment challenges for intimacy with ourselves or anyone else. As a lot of us have commitment issues. We've been told that how you do some things is how you do everything. I don't really believe that. I do believe that there is truth to it for many people, but as a whole, I don't believe that, because my 20 plus years as a clinician, working with people, dealing in human behavior, relationship management, trauma-informed care, and all the stuff that are the layers of foundation of what have made me who I am, has told me that there are too many people out here being freaking dope on paper. Just dope. Like, they are doing a thing. They are showing up to the business meetings. They are rocking these pitches. They are building their real estate portfolios. They are just killing it. They're rocking it in whatever their field is. Now, they're really rocking it at 70% of who they are. We see it as like above 100% because we don't know their capacity. So that's where there's a little bit of truth into some of that statement. It's because they look ridiculously incredible on paper. They're showing up in their jobs. They're getting promotion after promotion. Like, they look like they have it all together, but at home, they're doing nothing. Like, they're getting home, they're putting their feet up, they're watching Netflix until they go in a coma, or Hulu, or nothing. They're just staring at a wall. They're not very invigorating people. If the light switch and spotlight isn't on them, they are just like done. Like, you wouldn't even recognize them. And I'm not saying you can't be an ambivert, which I know I am. I know how to turn it on. When the light comes on, my energy is up, I'm ready to go. And when I get home, I want some fuzzy socks and some hot tea. Like, give it to me. But I'm not doing that all day. I'm not sleeping my life away. I'm like, this is how I come down. This is how I recharge. I get connected. I do my devotionals. I pray with my husband. Like, I get recharged that way. But I don't need to do that for 8 hours just because I'm not on a stage. Like, you need to be able to have a balance of it all. And a lot of us don't do that. It's either one or the other, and it's very extremely extreme, and you don't want to be that. And a lot of it is because you have depleted energy. You can't really commit to being consistent with something that you claim that you wanted, whether it was this new body, new year, new you. Isn't that always the statement? If it was this new love that you said you wanted to attract because, you've been divorced, or you've been separated, or you've just been over relationships for a while, and now you're ready to get out there. So you say you want to do this. You say you're going to commit to a new outward approach of, let me go to different places than I used to. I'll go to a new gym. I'll go to libraries now, and I'll go to new restaurants. I'll go into a new neighborhood. You say you're going to do that, and you ride that out for like 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and then it's over. You say you're going to do something different inside your marriage, inside your relationship, so you can rekindle the flame and ignite the creativity there, both at home and at work, and it doesn't happen. One of the many reasons, and there's 3 real key reasons why we have commitment issues. And for those of you who want to go into this further, if you go onto the podcast that I run called Balance Boldly, episode 3, I talked about the truth about our triggers. That was like 60 some episodes ago, but just go on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you can pick up a podcast, type in Balance Boldly, and go to episode 3, which is the truth about triggers. I talk about all the triggers for commitment challenges. But for here, it's really dealing with depleted energy, first and foremost. The reason you have depleted energy is because you don't feel fulfilled. So that's like really your second reason. You don't feel fulfilled. And then your third is because you're dealing with a lot of guilt and or shame around why you haven't done something that someone else expected you to do. You haven't broken that expectation off of your life. So there are 50 and 60 and 70-year-old people whose parents had an expectation that they would take a certain role in life, whether those parents are blessed to still be with us here or not, it still haunts them. Oh, well, you know what? maybe that's why we had to file bankruptcy twice, because my mom told me that I should have been a lawyer and I decided to go be an accountant instead. So maybe that's why this happened. Maybe truck on the street. Maybe I'm not happy in this relationship because my cousin told me that that wasn't the type of person that I was really supposed to be with in the first place. And because I was feeling all young and passionate, I did it. Like, we start to have these expectations that belong to other people. And sometimes our private expectations of what we said we would do at 19, 20, 23, you know, you'd be married, 2 kids, a dog. You wouldn't be married. You never getting married. You're never having kids. And then you got 8. You're like, what happened? Like, you know, like there's all these expectations we have on ourselves that then make us look at how our lives are very differently. And then we start to become unfulfilled. And because we're unfulfilled, our energy is drained. You see where all that leads up to why you're having a commitment challenge with even something new that you said you want to do. So there's a remedy. There is a remedy to fixing it. All of this is not for naught. It's just not all about the negative of, you know, what is all wrong with me? You know, why did I pick the wrong love? Why did I get married? And then that person not be the person I was supposed to be with, and they betrayed me and all that. It happened. It is a part of your process. It is a part of your story, but it is not meant to break you down and make you feel like you have to lay down and just give up on life and give up on love. You're supposed to learn from those lessons. Okay, so I didn't become a pediatrician. All right. What did I do? What did I learn? What legacy have I created from that? And if I'm not exactly where I thought I would be at 42 years old or 36 years old or 25 years old or 52 years old or whatever it is, what can I do now? Because with breath in your body, you still have purpose, whether you've tapped into it or not. And one of the reasons we haven't tapped into our purpose is because it's all that calcified chaos sitting right there. You are blaming yourself for so much, and you got to uncreate it. I joked with my sister-in-law a couple weeks ago. And I'm only saying sister-in-law to you guys because some of you know who my biological siblings are and who aren't. But my sister is my sister, right? Like, my sister-in-law is my sister. And I joke with her because she chose my husband, her brother, whatever, to go to my nephew's graduation, because you know these high school graduations only give you like 4 or 5 tickets. So she had to be very strategic, you know, mom, dad, blah, 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 uncle. And I was like, wait, why he get a ticket and I don't get a ticket? I'm Aunt Bunny. Like, why he get a ticket? I would have said, she was like, because that's my brother. And I was like, so I don't care that y'all came from the same womb. I was such a hater. It was horrible. So I told her very jokingly that she was uncreated, deleted, and destoried from my life, like from my entire life, because I didn't get a ticket, right? And I was so like serious in the moment, kind of, sort of, like I knew I didn't really mean it. And she was like, are you serious? Like, you're mad at me because you didn't get a ticket? I was like, yes. So my nephew ended up having a pinning ceremony, something different that was awesome. That was yesterday that they invited me to, and I was the first to be invited. So I was like, okay. I get very territorial over my family, by the way. If you didn't know, you know now. I'm super territorial. So she came, I was like, okay, I've recreated you now. I've recreated you in my life. So I allow you back into the fold of my being and my memories and my stories and my narrative. And I share that with you as a lighthearted joke, but you can really do that in real life. You can uncreate the blame that you gave yourself for not doing something that you said you were going to do by a certain age or a certain time, or because you made a mistake that you thought you would never be caught in, or that you would never fall down a certain rabbit hole, and you fell down it and you got caught and you felt trapped for a while. Well, you're crawling out of it now. Some of you have been out of it for a long time, but you've, like a prisoner, still felt encaged even though you were free. Like, many of us have been trapped to that. And a huge way of doing it is recognizing that you've done that to yourself. Like, I take complete ownership for failed relationships that I've had. And I don't mean necessarily just in my intimate relationships, but in my platonic intimate relationships. I've had girlfriends and associates that became girlfriends over time that I've completely uncreated and deleted and destoried from my life. Completely. Wish them well. I pray all is amazing in their side of the world, but they absolutely have no hold on me now. Any betrayal that might have happened, trust issues that came up, anything that was revealed, personally, I believe you should address things in the moment as soon as you can, you know, with a reasonable, logical mind. And if you're not given that opportunity because they try to disappear or they go hiding or whatever the case is, then so be it. You know, flush it out, flush out your feelings and deal with it between you and your God and move on, right? But you literally have to cut that emotional attachment because it is binding your brilliance. And that is not what you want. You want to be unbound. Because if you can do that here in your personal side, then when you decide to go to work and dominate in your corporate career, your nonprofit career, your entrepreneurial career, and build an empire or lifestyle business, whatever it is that is attached to your part of your purpose, Joan, you can do that at 100%. We only see the 70 and we're amazed by it. But you know that you're not giving your 100%. You're only doing 70. And 70 is good enough for everybody else, but you're not living for everybody else, right? People say all the time, oh, I don't care about what everybody else say. Yes, you do. Because some of you are doing bare minimum because everybody else has accepted it. Just like some of you are not doing enough because everybody else has accepted it, right? Or they've told you that you're doing too much. I heard that my whole entire life. You doing too much. I am. I'm too animated. I talk with my hands. My facial expressions always change. My hair is always changing. Wow with my tongue. My filter is questionable. Like, I've heard all this. And of course, that doesn't mean you shouldn't grow, because you do want to be always learning and growing and doing things to be improvement. But I will always and forever be doing too much. Because while I'm allowed to do it, I'm going to do exactly what I'm called to do. And to you, who might not be doing as much as me, you might be like, oh, you're doing too much. Well, for me, I'm at like 40% or 50 or 60 or 70. But until I reach my 100% of capacity, I'm not doing too much. And the reason I can do that and not feel overwhelmed or overstimulated or burnt out is because I get selfish. I fill up. I got boundaries. I will tell you no in a minute. No, I cannot do that. No, I cannot come there. Yes, I can send you a gift. Yes, I absolutely will love to be a part of that, and say it without regret. And it wasn't something that I was just born to say or do. I had to learn it. I grew up a people pleaser. That was the whole thing. Sounds like a fun friend. I try to be a fun friend. It depends, right? Like, some people will always say like, yo, you're never available. Well, define never. Because the fact that I just saw you 4 times last year was a lot to me. Because I also have 20 other people that are also saying I'm never around. And when you do 4 times 20, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's 80 events. That's 80 contacts. That's 80 communications, not including the touch points in between. And when I have a life of purpose that I'm fulfilling and leading, and my first ministry is to my family, which means I have to be completely full in order to do family first, and then everything outside of that, because the vision is bigger than me, then maybe seeing you 4 times a year is enough. And if that's not okay with you, then we have to sit down and communicate about it. We may have to revisit the position that we play in each other's lives. And that's a hard conversation for anyone, your sexual intimate partner, your kids, your siblings. I get fussed up about my siblings on a regular basis. My sister is always busy. Yes, I know, but I'm exactly where you need me to be when you need me. I don't come to everything. I can't make it. Y'all got an event every other day. I can't make it. But I make it to the things that I can, and I do it completely without regret. I show up. I'm excited. I can help, roll up my sleeves. I'm here, whether that's a 2-hour commitment, a 4-hour commitment, an 8-hour commitment, whatever it is. I'm excited to be there because I gave a full yes and not a half yes, because I was very clear about my no. No is a complete sentence, no explanation. And it took a lot to get to that point. But once you do, you start to feel really good about it. It takes a while, you know, you got to deal with some of the this and the conversations, and you want to be very gentle because you don't want to be disrespectful. I would never want to be disrespectful, especially for the elders in my family, and definitely not for people that I care about, because I'm never intentionally trying to hurt anyone's feeling, and your intentions do matter. With that said, so does my purpose. So does my intimacy with my husband. So does making sure I have room for that, and I'm not trying to be out here doing everything else for everyone else, that my husband and my kids are like, you're not available when I need you though. Auntie called you, uncle called you, cousin called you, so-and-so called you, you're there doing that, your client's calling you, you're traveling for that, but you can't come to my recital, you can't come to, you know, my child's so-and-so, you're not making it to your grandkids, whatever. I'm a grandmom now. I also know that life is really, really short. And part of that allows me to be really stricter with my commitment challenges and really careful about what I commit to, because I want to enjoy my years. You know, I pray that I have 60 some years left, and I'll be 42 in a matter of seconds. I pray I have 60 some years, but I also know everything's not guaranteed. And I don't want to live my life fulfilling it for everyone else. And I'm sure the rest of you don't either. You want to enjoy your life, which also means creating those intimate connections with people, because that's what helps you enjoy your life. You don't want to enjoy it in a bubble and have no visitors and no one to call and no one to think or talk to or recognize, no events to go up to, no one's inviting you to anything because you're never around. You don't want to do that. You have to literally, pun intended, create the balance for that. And part of it is get your energy up. You can't have good energy if you're not well. So Wellness Wednesday and Self-Care Saturday, or Selfish Saturday, whatever you want to call it, is important to get your energy up. Being connected to what makes you feel good on a Friday feels, you know, like that helps you feel more fulfilled. Being able to sit in a space of a sizzling Sunday or a tantalizing Tuesday and know that you feel really good about the things that are coming near and around and to you or touching you or what you're touching, that allows you to let go of those expectations. So by doing that, just kind of starting with this 30-day commitment challenge of intimacy for yourself will allow you to break free of some of those binds. So that's my challenge to you today, is to just take care of you. Be a little bit more selfish, intentionally. Be intentionally selfish with yourself today, or at least within the next 5 days, and recommit to the challenge. If you didn't start it on June 1 because you didn't know about it and you didn't hear last week's, you know, Let's Talk Intimacy, it's okay. It's not too late. I called it a 30-day challenge, but you can hopefully do it forever. But do it in 5-day increments. Do whatever you need to do, but just start doing it, because you matter and your intimacy matters. Do you guys have any questions? Hey, Melanie. Hi, Larry. Maurice, I didn't see you here. Hey, Maurice. I don't know if you guys are typing. All right, it looks like you're good with questions. If you do have questions, feel free to DM them to me. It's obviously easier if you send them an email, because then I can organize it and I will put it in here. Ask Naketa. Feel free to send it into my email. And if you have any questions around intimacy at all, especially personal relationship intimacy with yourself, with your lover, with your kids, with your neighbors, like anything on the personal side. The business side, I talk about all the time as well. I just don't technically go deep into the Let's Talk Intimacy one. We save that for a different platform, but I'm happy to do that. When's the next intimacy talk? I'm glad you asked. I can tell you right now, it is definitely going to be on Thursdays. I'm going to stick to Thursday. I'm out of town next week, but I am back, so I can do it Thursday. So we are going to do Thursday. And how did you guys like this time? Did you like the 11? You want to do 11? I can do 11 or 11:30. So I think I'll just go live around the same time, around 11:30. 11:30, and I would really love to go deeper into deeper intimacy tips for singles getting back out there. That's a really good question. So some of that, Neen, thank you for asking that question. Good. Thank you, Dana. I'm so glad you carved out time to join too. I know you have such a full schedule with all your traveling and everything too. So tips for singles getting back out there. A lot of what I tell everyone, and I said this earlier too, is it always starts with you, because your energy attracts, it literally attracts what's a mirrored reflection of what's going on with you. So if you are more intimate with you, if you are taking care of your body, eating right, exercising, good for you, whatever that looks like. You don't have to run marathons because that's good for Tina, but if that's not good for you, then you know that's not what you want to do. But just taking care of you is super important, because in that you'll go to new places you've never gone before. If you're really living your best life and creating your balance and your joy by really reconnecting with yourself, like that self that used to be more fearless, more bold, more brave, if you're doing that and going to those places, you're already putting yourself into a whole nother dimension. That's what you're doing. You've like leveled yourself up, to use that phrase. Like you've decided that this is what you want more of. So when you are taking care of you and you're like, you know what? I used to wear red lip. Like this, for me, I'll point to me, first partaker all the time. I used to wear red lipstick, and I would usually only wear it when I had a certain speaking engagement or something. And I love the way red looks on my skin tone. I just love the way it did. But I didn't necessarily want to overpower personal events. Like I didn't want to go to a family event, or, you know, my family is super, super laid back. So as much as one side of my family does parties and events and all that, the other side of my family is very laid back, feet up. We'll just watch movies, eat, play with the kids, and call it a day. Like very, very different dynamic. And in neither dynamic did I feel like it was okay for me to like stand out, because I didn't want to overpower. I had survivor's guilt, which was a whole different conversation with a lot of the things that I had accomplished and achieved. So I would purposely like dim my own light and just dumb down a lot of things. Like I would dress down. I wouldn't put on any makeup. Not that I'm a big makeup person in the first place, but I wouldn't even put on my red. That's one of the few things that I do is a lip, and I might fill in my eyebrows just a tiny bit. That was like one of the cute things, and I wouldn't do it. When I started to like let that go, like literally release, like, Key, it's okay for you to put on your red lip anywhere you go. It don't matter if you're just going to see mommy and y'all just going to have a cup of tea. Put on your red lip if you feel, because I dress for my mood. So if I'm feeling like, you know, fierce, I put on my red lip. If I'm feeling a little bit more laid back, I usually do like a pinkish color. And sometimes I just want some gloss. Like, you know, it just really depends on my day, or if I'm rushing or I'm about to go to the gym or something like that. I had to really get in touch with that. And I will say, as much as this is a tiny thing to say red lip for men, it might be, you know, not putting on the Nike shorts or sweatpants, but actually putting on some khakis, or, you know, sleeker tailored pants, or whatever. Like whatever is your thing that you know that you kind of pulled away from because you've gotten so comfortable. Oh, hey, Deborah. Because you've gotten so comfortable, stop it. Like life is short. Like feel good about it. So now I wear a red lip wherever I want. If I feel like wearing it to church, I wear it to church. If I want to go put some red lipstick on mommy's face when I go give her a kiss, I put it on, because I feel really good about that for myself. And that's really important for all of us. So when you're doing that as a single, you start to attract what you're mirroring. You're feeling good, you're feeling fierce, you will attract more of that to you. Now, I know a lot of people will think that that's super woo-woo, and that's okay. One day you will understand that the woo-woo is real. One day you will connect with the reality that the woo-woo is what allows you to create your own reality and something magnificent. For those of you who already understand, we right there, right? So it's really real. I hope that that was helpful. Of course, there's a ton more tips, and I'll always be talking about singles as well as married, you know, moving forward. Like I always want to reconnect, because I know a lot of people are in transition in their relationship. Some are newly divorced or newly separated, and they don't want to feel like intimacy is irrelevant to them just because they're not, quote unquote, in a partnership. Intimacy matters because it starts with you, and you want to be your best self for whenever it is you're ready to go back into the world of dating or attracting who you're meant to be with, or at least for that time, for that moment. The woo-woo, honey, the woo-woo all day long. It's so important. So I'm going to leave you with that. I don't want to spend too much of your time. I know a lot of you guys are at work, and I wanted to make sure that I gave you something of value. I'm really looking forward to next week. Please, please, please send your questions. Email me at asknaketa. If you have any questions, asknaketa@thigpro.com. If you have any of those questions, I don't know, for some reason, I thought, yeah, I did. I put it in the chat box. If you see it there, I will put it here again. And of course, feel free to DM me your question as well. If you want to remain anonymous with your question, that's totally cool. Just put anonymous in the subject line, or if you're to DM, just say, you know, just say anonymous for this if you read this question out, because that's what I normally do. I read a couple of questions and then I answer them for there, because, you know, the live stream is supposed to be live. But this was awesome. I really like this time. I'm glad you guys showed up and showed out. Dana said, awesome reminder, I matter, we matter. Sometimes like today, not feeling putting on the makeup, but it's worth it. I'm worth it. Yes, Dana, yes, 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 yes. The woo-woo all day long. I know you know it. I know you know it. Yeah, put it on. And even if it's a clear lip gloss, lip balm, whatever makes you go like, I know. Like that's me all day. I had someone ask me, I think it was a few weeks ago when I was in New York. They said, Naketa, you are not lacking confidence, are you? I said, would you prefer I was? Because that wasn't a reflection of me because I feel really good about me. That's a reflection of you to ask me that question. Are you upset at the confidence that I'm projecting? Because it's real. It's not made up. It's not postured. If anyone follows me, you know I will shamelessly open up my book and my tells and tell you any